Hello, boys and girls. It is Angela Anderson of Angela's Literary Cafe. And boys and girls, I am super duper excited because guess who came to hang out with us again? Darby Baham, boys and girls. Y'all probably remember her with her debut, The Shoe Diaries. Guys, she is back. Bloom where you're planted. This is book 2. And she came to hang out with us here at the cafe and talk about it. So, Darby, for those who may not know you, can you introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you, Angela, for having me back. I'm super excited. um, I was saying to everyone, like when I was promoting it, it's a good time at Angela's Literary Cafe. So make sure you get here.
Yes, yes.
It's fun. So thank you for having me. Okay, let's see. What's my spiel about who I am? So I am actually just had my birthday at the end of May or middle of May.
Happy
Um,
birthday.
so still sort of celebrating birthday, even though I guess
Yes.
it's not May anymore, but whatever, I'm doing it. I am no longer a debut author, I guess second time author. Originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, lived in the Washington, D.C. area for about 15 years, moved to New York, and have been here for about 6 years now, even though it feels so much shorter. Uh, Thank you, Jennifer. And I've been a writer and an editor for 20 plus years. Love telling women's stories, love telling stories about people who have the same background as me, to give people like an experience. Maybe you can relate to it, or maybe it's like, man, I didn't know that people were going through that, sort of
Right.
like empathetic connection. And really excited as the second book just came out about a week ago. So
I love that. And that's one of the things that is, I think, a lot of the readers that we enjoy about these types of stories is that the realness of the characters. And when the characters are relatable,
yeah.
when they have that vulnerability, all of that good stuff. And then, there's romance in there as well. Those are the types of things that like draws us in. But I want you, Darby, if you think about your writing and your writing style, what would be Darby's tagline for the type of
Oh my
stories that you
gosh.
tell?
That's a great question. I'm
Let's
thinking,
spill the
I
tea.
know, right? As soon as you said tagline, my brain went to like Real Housewives of Atlanta, where you have like, they start off the show with their like, I may be a peach, but I don't know. I haven't watched those shows in a while, but I just think of that. So my tagline might be like, it might get real, but you'll still have fun with it, right?
Oh, okay. Did y'all hear that, boys and girls? It might get real, but you'll still have fun with it.
Yeah.
I love that, Darby. I love that. Look, make sure you write that down. That's a good one. Or
I like
if
to
you be like,
play
what
in
did
the
I say on
angstiness,
Angela's show? You can just go watch the replay.
right?
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, Darby, I am super duper excited for you and your second novel, Bloom
Yay.
Where You're Planted. And okay, Darby,
Yes.
when you did the cover reveal, I was right there, girl. I was right there. Oh my goodness. Tell us about this gorgeous cover. Tell us about this.
So, what's so funny? I had like different the great thing about Harlequin is that they allow you to give them ideas, right? So, leading up to the cover being developed, I sent them like, here are some really great scenes that I think might be relatable for a cover, and was so excited to see that they picked one of them.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so if you get toward, I don't want to spoil anything. You get to that part of the book, it will be you'll see and you're like, that's where that comes from. But I loved, like, I am just in envy of her like beautiful brown skin. It's like
Yeah.
glowing to me, right? I'm like, please,
Yeah.
I need to go on a beach so I can get that. And I love that like her eyes are just sort of like right in you, especially for
Yes.
something like this
Yes.
where it's really
It's
introspective.
almost like they did like a close up, and then they got the
Yeah,
little flower. Yes. Oh my
exactly.
goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
And guys, if you don't know, okay, Darby is the bomb. Okay, so when you get like your book, well, when I got my book, and I'm sure there's some other people out there too, guys, look, take a look at this. I mean, who does that? Darby Baham. Okay, so your book, so my book was like inside, and there was a nice little card, all that good stuff. And then, I mean, uh, Darby, yes. I was not expecting that. I'm thinking, the regular mailer. I was like, oh my goodness, for me.
I mean, you can't send out a book called Bloom Where You're Planted with these beautiful pink peonies and not have some sort of flowers.
Right. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. I love that. And that's one of the things that I like about you, even with your first book, Boys and Girls, the Shoot Diaries, as well, is that you really embody like the theme of what's going on with your books and stuff. I love that. Where does that come from? That creativity? Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Well, some of it comes from my therapist and her being like, write what you know. But I think it goes right back to what we were talking about in the beginning. It's my way of relating to, I don't want to say my audience, but like relating to the world and picking up pieces from observations from people around me, picking up pieces from my own experiences, and just getting a chance to. I think this is the really cool thing as a writer, is that you get a chance to just like lay it all bare and put it all into fiction and make it somehow work. And it's like, it's not really me, but it's kind of me. And it's like you get to really just explore all of these different pieces and personalities. And like I was saying earlier, like I love digging into some of the angsty stuff, knowing that like it's a romance novel, so it's going to come out pretty and beautiful and all that stuff at the end. But it's like, what does it look like to dig in that mess in
Yes.
and
Yes.
come out like blooming with roses and peonies and stuff, right?
I love that. I love that. And guys, if you are just joining us, of course you already know I'm super duper excited because I'm hanging out with Darby.
Yay.
Excuse me, why a fangirl, okay? But guys, if you don't know, book one, it came out at the beginning of the year, The Shoe Diaries, and this is book two, Bloom Where You're Planted, and this is the Friendship Chronicles series. So did you know at the beginning when you wrote the Shoe Diaries and when you did that this was going to be a series? And if so, how many more can we expect?
So yes and no. I knew that I didn't want it to be just one book, right? So when my agent Latoya Smith was pitching to different places, and we ultimately settled on Harlequin, best decision ever. We were like, we wanted to be a series, but we still had to work through with my editor on what the series would be. Like, is it going to follow the main character from the first book? Her name was Reagan. Is it going to follow Reagan the whole way through? Are you going to get to meet her friends and get their storylines? And so working with Gail, my editor, that's what we settled on. Like, let's give a whole bunch of different perspectives and tell like Reagan's in the first story, Jennifer's in this one, we have folks down the line. And the beautiful part is that it's all the same universe. So you still get to learn what's going on with all the people that were in the first book. And then the second one going forward, it's just a change in like point of view, essentially.
I love that. I love that. And so let's talk a little. Let's get into it a little bit, okay? Tell us a little bit about Jennifer. Now I'm saying Pridgett. Is that correct? How you pronounce her last name? Okay. Jennifer Pridgett or Jen. Describe her for me. If you had to kind of break her down into like 3 words, and if you need a little bit more, feel free to take those
3
2.
words.
But how would you describe her?
Okay, so 3 words. She is sensitive.
Okay, yeah.
Lonely at the beginning. And I'm not gonna be able to do this in 3 words, but working.
No, look, take as many as you need.
Yeah, I would say sensitive, lonely at the beginning, but supportively working on herself throughout the book.
Yes. And of course, okay, tell us a little bit about Nick Carrington.
Okay, so Nick is like, oh my gosh, their relationship. I'm trying not to give everything away, but their relationship, what I love about Nick is that I think by virtue of Jennifer being on the cover, you assume that she is the protagonist, and she is, right? We are following her story, but we really do get to learn a lot about Nick in this. And and what both of their struggles to try and like meet back into this intimate relationship, like where that comes from. And so the thing I love about Nick is that he absolutely loves Jen. You know
Yes.
that. There's no denying that. It's just all the other stuff that they have to figure out.
Right.
But the love, you know that he loves her. And it was sort of like, well, if you know that he loves her, then they can figure out everything else as long as like they're both trying to. But you got to try to, right? Like you got
Yeah.
to have that fight. You got to want to do it.
Now, thinking about Nick and Jen and some of the other characters in this book, which one was the most interesting to write?
Hmm. Oh, it's like trying to pick like your child. um, Actually, I think it was. Oh man, I'm gonna
Well,
take.
was there one that was fun? Like when, like in your head, it was just the thoughts was just going everywhere of trying
Right.
to get them on the page.
I think it's funny because she is such a not minor, but side character. But Rebecca is really fun for me to write. Mostly because like I can just like she's like the wild one, not the wild one, but like she's the free spirit of the group. So I can just
Uh-huh.
like say that she's doing whatever. And it's not a shock to anyone. Everyone's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do that. You know?
I love it. I love it. And boys and girls, if you are just joining me, I am hanging out with the one and only Darby Baham, guys. She is hanging out with us talking about her latest release, Bloom Where You're Planted. Now, Darby, if someone was to just stumble upon Bloom Where Planted, can they read it and be okay and then go back? Or you think that they need to, read them in order? Can it be read as a standalone?
So it can be read as a standalone for sure. However, here's my caveat to that answer. That there will be some spoilers to book 1 if you read book 2 first. So you don't have to read book 1 and 2 in that kind of order, but they are chronological. So, for example, you might know who Reagan ends up with at the end, because she's dating that person in book 2 now. So if you don't mind spoilers, I'm a person who doesn't mind spoilers, so it's not a problem for me. But if you are a person who is like, no, I don't want to know, then it's probably better to read book 1 first. Yeah.
I love that. I love it. And look, the thing that when I know I had read, you was describing Jen, and you was like some of the things that she loves is she loves her boyfriend. She loves 90s R&B.
Yes.
And she loves her friends. Okay, that's like our type of friend. Who doesn't love 90s R&B?
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I was like, okay, Jen, go best friend.
Right. Me too.
Yes. Oh my goodness, guys. If you're just joining us, you know how we do it here on Angela's Lyric Cafe. If you have a question for Darby, no spoiler questions, but if you have a question for Darby, definitely put it in the chat area. We'll be sure to include you as well. Guys, we are talking about her latest release, Bloom Where You Are Planted, and it is available now, guys, in stores, in ebook as well. So there are many ways that you can get this book in addition to book 1 as well, the Shoe Diaries. And as Darby said, if you don't mind spoilers, you can read this one first. But if you want to go in order, the Shoe Diaries and then Bloom Where They're Planted. Okay, now Darby, I got to ask you a question. Is it something you want to tell us about Pink? I said, wait a minute now. She got the pink going on with the Shoe Diaries and the pink going on with Bloom Where They're Planted. Is that your favorite color, or it just so happens that they just were both pinkish?
It is not my favorite color. My favorite color is red, but you know how some people like their favorite color is actually not the color that they own the most of? That's me. My favorite color is red, but I think pink looks great on brown skin. Like I just do. So I just love
like I even noticed I'm like, I've been wearing a lot of magenta, and I really like it. Yes. It's like that pop, it just pops. It just looks really good. So yeah, I totally agree with that as well.
And then on the flip side, like I'm one of those Oh, I was just
Oh,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
on the flip
Oh, and
side.
some of them are telling you happy belated
Oh, thank
release
you.
as well. And guys, in addition to the release of Bloom Where You're Planted, Darby is actually, her birthday was in May, but she's still celebrating. So
I'm still
feel free to
celebrating.
wish her happy birthday as well. Yes, yes, I love it. Author Sharon Blunt, she says she loves pink as
It's
well.
really
So
good. It's
Darby,
a good
tell
color.
me, when you hear these three words, what comes to mind? Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Um, love, careers, friendship.
The Friendship Chronicles. No.
And if they don't know, your books usually have a touch of some of these things
Mhm.
of love, careers, and friendship in there too. So yeah, perfect. The Friendship Chronicles. I love it. And guys, that is the series that we are talking about, the Friendship Chronicles, as well. And we're so excited for Darby. This is her second book, boys and girls. She is rolling as well. Now, Darby, of course, you just celebrated the release of Bloom Where You're Planted. What do you do for release week, release month? What do you do to help celebrate?
Oh, that's so good. So actually this time around, I relaxed on on the actual release day. I was like, I don't want to do any formal events. I want to just take a moment. I think this tells you where my head is right now. I wanted to take a moment, smell the roses, appreciate that, like, oh my goodness, since January, this is my second book that has come out. So I just really wanted to like have that me time.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, then it was go time, right?
Okay.
It was, we've had a couple personal op-eds that have been released that I've had the opportunity to do, a couple virtual events,
Okay.
reading on Harlequin's Soothing Sundays series. So that was really fun. And then just preparing for, I have this weekend, I have coming up a private book release party with some of my closest friends. So, it's like that kind of thing where you're just getting an opportunity to just celebrate the moment. Yeah.
I love that. I love that as well. And so, Darby, what can you tell us? Of course, you know that you have the Shoe Diaries, and now you have Bloom Where You're Planted. What did you enjoy about writing Nick and Jen's story?
I really, really, really enjoyed writing the story of a couple that was already established, right? So you start off the book knowing that they are together. It's not, you don't get the meet cute in the beginning. You do get a little taste of it later on. They kind of sort of talk about like how they met. But at the very beginning, they're already in a relationship. And I just thought it would be so cool to write about like, what does it look like to already be in an established relationship and to figure out like, how do I maintain the passion in that relationship? And like, what does it look like 3 years in to still be, desiring each other,
Yes.
wanting to like tear your clothes off when you walk in the apartment, like that kind of thing. And how do you keep that intimacy and that flame going after, I don't think this is a spoiler, but both of them haven't really seen that in their lives. So
Right.
you have the examples to tell them like this is what it looks like to get to that 3-year milestone or that 5-year milestone, 5 to 10, and then so on and so forth. So they're figuring it out. And it was just really cool to kind of dig into that area of what figuring it out looks like.
I love that. I love that. And boys and girls, if you are just joining us, I'm hanging out with Darby Baham, her latest release, Boys and Girls Bloom Where You're Planted. And Darby, do you have a little snippet to share with the people tonight?
I do. Yes. Okay. So one thing I had to give my family a heads up on is that Bloom Where You're Planted is a little bit steamier than the Shoe Diaries. So if you're thinking about heat level, I think Shoe Diaries was sort of like PG-13-ish. Bloom Where You're Planted is, the next step up in some areas. So
Okay.
so that's my caveat. Okay, so here we go. With my right hand, I dragged my fingertips across the back of his neck, which prompted Nick to swiftly put his plate down and pull me fully onto him. Facing him with my legs straddled around his waist, I leaned my whole body into him and took his lips into mine. Nick took the cue and wrapped his arms around me while we hungrily took turns intertwining our lips and tongues. With fire in his eyes, Nick grabbed my hair and pulled my head back so that he could bury his face in my neck, alternating between bites and licks as he made his way down my jawline to the top of my white tank top where my breast poked out ever so slightly. Maybe the spark wasn't dead after all. Just as my breathing became heavier with excitement, Nick yawned, loud and long, full on into my chest. Well, so much for that. Still tired, huh? I asked, desperately hoping he would say no and keep kissing me. Yeah, I guess so, he sighed and picked his head up to look me in my eyes. Can we table this until I've gotten a little more sleep? I think it'll be better for both of us. Of course, I'm not going anywhere. This time I kissed him on the lips to reassure him. Thanks, babe. I think I'm actually going to head to bed now. The exhaustion is really hitting me. I peeled my body off his and watched as he stood up from the couch and began walking toward the stairs to his loft bedroom. You coming? He asked, looking back across his left shoulder. I'll be up there shortly. Just want to put the food away first. Maybe finish watching this old episode of Being Mary Jane. Okay, cool, he said with another pout. Just don't take too long. You know I can't sleep well without my gin blanket. I know, Nick. I won't. I watched him as he disappeared up the steps, climbing two at a time until he was no longer there. Then I took a deep breath, steadied myself from the tinglings in my body I'd just been feeling not more than 5 minutes ago, and began picking up the dishes and containers from the coffee table. Back in his kitchen, I washed our dishes and placed them in the drying rack next to the sink, stacked the leftover containers in the refrigerator, and made sure to close the trash bag tightly after I threw away the bag everything came in. The last thing we'd want was to wake up to the smell of old seafood when we got up tomorrow morning. Using a dry towel, I wiped down the sink when I was done, making sure not to leave a trace of water. It was something my grandmother taught me growing up and was embedded in my brain now. Your kitchen wasn't truly clean if your sink was still wet. Lastly, I turned off the kitchen light and walked back to the living room. I grabbed the remote control and unpaused the TV as I sat down. My memory of the episode came back to me instantly. Oh, yes, I said aloud. This is the one where Mary Jane tells the guests on her show that they may have ideological differences, but they are both women fighting to be heard and seen. Well, I could definitely relate to that.
I love it. Boys and girls, she just gave us a little snippet of Bloom Where You're Planted, enough to wet your whistle. Oh my goodness, guys. Tell a friend that it is available as well, where books are sold, book 1 and book 2. So thank you so much, Darby, for sharing that with us. Okay, my friend, you know we got to play a game with this or that. But of course,
yes,
you already know it's all things according to Darby. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I got to sit up for this. Okay, so this or that. Girls trip. Okay, that's what we're doing. Girls trip.
Mm-hmm.
Cruise or going to Jamaica. So like a cruise to Jamaica or like going stateside Jamaica. Does that make sense?
Definitely just being in Jamaica.
Okay, being in Jamaica. Okay. All right. Sipping paint or wine tasting with the girls. Sipping paint or wine tasting.
Well, right now I'm going to say sipping paint because I have one coming up.
I love it. Yes, guys, she got one coming up Saturday. She will give you the details before we leave on today as well. Okay, Darby, glass half full or glass half empty?
I'm going to say the goal is glass half full. Definitely that's the goal. I'm just going to go with that.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right, second chance or best friend sibling?
Oh, wow. Oh, man. I like them both.
Okay, hey, go. All right, you ready? Enemies to lovers or secret baby?
Enemies to lovers.
Okay. Small town or big city, my friend?
Big city for sure. I'm a big city girl.
I love it. And Darby, of course, we know you've been here before, but for those who may not have known your answer, are you team tea or are you team coffee?
Team both, but mostly team coffee.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. Guys, if you're just joining us, hanging out with Darby Baham, boys and girls, her latest release, Bloom Where You're Planted. We are talking about that, guys. It just released maybe under a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah,
so we are celebrating. Yes, we are celebrating with her, guys. We're super duper excited. And if you have not seen, check out this gorgeous cover as well. Actually, both of her covers, guys. This is the Shoe Diaries. Y'all remember Darby was hanging out with us with her debut novel. And now this is the second book in this particular series, Bloom Where You're Planted. So, Darby, can you share with us a little bit, I guess, without giving any spoilers? What would be a takeaway that you would want readers to take away from Bloom Where Planted? Because it does have some realistic, real life things that some deep issues that people may
Yeah.
go through or what have you. There's some romance in there too, boys and girls. But what would be a takeaway for individuals who are reading this story?
I think the biggest takeaway is right there on the cover, is to bloom where you're planted, right? That to not worry about comparing yourself and your relationship and all the things that you want to do to the people that are around you, but to figure out what's yours is yours, and to, learn how to be content in that, and then to prosper in the things that are yours.
I love that. I love that. And boys and girls, we do have enough time. If you have a quick question or two for Darby, if you want to put it in the comment section, I'll be sure to include you and ask her your question as well. Darby, can you share with us what the giveaway is going to be for tonight?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm really, really excited. So Angela already showed you a little bit of it. But the giveaway will be one of those beautiful rose petal boxes with the first two books of the Friendship Chronicles series. So you will get the Shoe Diaries and Bloom Where You're Planted. Oh, here we go.
Wow, I love it.
As part of your box set.
I love, guys, that is a pretty cool giveaway on tonight. And of course, Darby, if you remember how we're going to do this is I'm going to go up and down the comment section. You, my friend, is going to tell me when to stop, and that will be a winner. And author Sharon Blunt, she had a question for you. She said, is there another genre that you want to write?
Oh, that's such a great question, Sharon. So I would say that already my books are a blend of romance and women's fiction.
Mm.
So I certainly want to, ideally, I would love to have both, to have my romance novels and my like purely women's fiction books, because that's just kind of like how I write anyway.
Uh-huh.
But to be able to like dig into some of those things and not necessarily know that there's going to be a happy ending, or a happy ending in terms of like a relationship.
Yes.
I'm excited to really dig into, to have both of them.
I
I'm
love
an
that.
both girl these days, I guess.
Look, why choose? Hey, I'll just do both. I love that. I love that. And Darby, I am ready when you
Going?
are. If you will tell me when to stop, and then that individual will be the winner of this lovely box, guys. You will actually get the duo, the Shoe Diaries, Bloom Where You're Planted, in this lovely rose petal box as well. And I am ready, my friend.
Okay, and I'm going to say stop, Angela.
Okay. Jennifer Copeland with her secret baby trope. You are the winner, my friend. If you will send me your mailing address, I will make sure to get this out or get it over to Darby, and she will get this information out to you. Thank you so much for joining us and for participating as well, Darby. That is an amazing book box. I love it. I love it. And we will take one more question. Tiffany Jones said that she loved the blend, so that romance.
Okay, I'm so glad.
That as well. And Miss Veronica want to know, do you have any interesting writing quirks
Oh,
or must-haves?
As in like, okay, I have a question to your question, Veronica. As in like, what do I need in order to write, or as in something that I write that's quirky?
So Veronica, she's asking you for confirmation. Are you saying what is something that she needs to write, or is there something that she writes that's quirky? So if you'll put that in the comment, and then Darby will answer that one as well. In the meantime, Darby, please share with us, where can we get our hands on? Well, I already have time to say, where can they get their hands on the Shoe Diaries and Bloom Where You're Planted?
Oh, so that's great. So Bloom Where You're Planted is actually physically in stores right now. You can go to Target, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Barnes and Noble, all those places. It You can get it on IndieBound for any of your local bookstores. I personally prefer that. You can also go to Amazon. And really, you can go to darbybaham.com/books. And I have all of these direct purchase links right there at the ready just to make it easy for everyone.
I love that. I love that. And she said, yes. What do you need to write that may be quirky?
Oh my goodness. Okay, can I just tell you, Veronica, that this is my therapist just said I need a writer. You know, like how artists have a writer where it's like, these are the things I need to be able to perform well. So I'm working on that. But one of the things I do like when I'm going to write that might be quirky is I don't like to wear like uncomfortable clothes, right? I want to be really, really comfortable and not
Okay.
the work environment. So I also I don't write at my desk.
Okay.
I can write like, sometimes it's been on vacation or like on the bed or
Uh-huh.
on the couch or something like that. But writing at my desk feels too much like work because I'm a writer in my day job as well. Um,
Okay.
I just can't be at my desk and I can't be wearing like formal clothes.
Oh, okay. I like that. So comfy clothes and then somewhere other than your desk writing.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. We'll take that writing quirk. We'll take that writing quirk as well. We'll take one more question. Antoinette wants to know, do you have a certain snack or beverage while you are writing? These
I
are great
don't.
questions, Darby.
These are really great questions. And they're making me think that I need some of these things. No, right now it's just water, honestly. I
Okay.
just try to stay hydrated.
Look, guys. Okay, so I'm analyzing, I'm breaking this down. Okay, so let me see. So Darby needs comfortable clothes. She cannot write at her desk, and it's just water right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
I need some more exciting answers. Like I wanted to be like, no, I have to have a margarita next to me with like, you know, eating some nachos or something, but it's not. I need to think
It's
of
not. I love
some
that. I
cool
love
things
that.
to do
Well,
while
boys
I
and
write.
girls, it has been amazing hanging out with Darby Baham. Darby, please tell us, how can we stay connected with you, my friend?
Well, I'm on Twitter and Instagram, all under Darby Baham. I think, Angela, I think I said this on your last one. I'm not super creative with names. It's just me. So you can find me everywhere under Darby Baham. That is Instagram, Twitter, and also my website is darbybaham.com. You can Google Darby Baham, all of those things.
I
And
love it.
then
I love it.
Angela mentioned I have a couple other events coming up. So I have a virtual release party that's coming up. All are welcome. Angela came to the last one. It was super fun.
So
Uh,
fun.
that's coming up on June 12th. But if you want to participate, you have to buy your painting kit by tomorrow so that you can get it in time. It's a virtual paint and sip release party. I am doing an Instagram live chat next week on National Best Friend Day to celebrate the Friendship Chronicles. And I'll be in New Orleans on June 25th at Blue Cypress Bookstore doing a book signing event there. So
I
all are
love it.
welcome
And
to
Darby,
all of
I'm
them.
sure that all of these places in your virtual tour stops, your in-person tour stops, is that on your website as well? Like if they can't think of everything,
Yep.
they can go to the website and you have a list of where you're gonna be.
It's on the website, it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. You can't miss it.
I love it. Well, boys and girls, definitely go and check her out on all of the social media platforms. Also, go to her website, participate in some of the other activities that she's going to be at, whether it's some virtual events as well. If you're in some of the cities when she's in person, go check Darby out as well. Guys, tell a friend, tell everybody about the Shoe Diaries as well as Bloom Where You're Planted, guys. They are available. As Darby said, you can get it from her website. You can go to your booksellers or what have you too. And guys, of course, you already know, once you read it, leave a review. I know that Darby would be so appreciative, boys and girls, for that. And Darby, I'm going to allow you to have the last words.
Oh my goodness. Well, Angela, this is always a great time. Like the 30 minutes goes by so fast. We're already
I
over. 30 minutes
know.
goes by so fast. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. So, I just want to say thank you again to you for putting this together and, you know, for being so supportive. We met virtually I don't know.
I can't wait till we get to an in-person event somewhere together, okay? Because I'm definitely a fangirl, okay? I'm just gonna tell you, I'm a fangirl.
Listen, we're friends. We're friends at this point.
Yes.
And just for everyone who joined, like, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope that the conversation today got you excited about reading Bloom Where You're Planted or the Shoe Diaries or both. And you know, I'm here. I'm a real person. Hit me up.
Yes,
I'm
she'll
happy to talk
respond to
about
you in
it
the
all.
inboxes as well, guys. She is just down to earth and amazing author as well. So it's just with so much joy for me to be able to hang out with her today and talk about her latest release, Bloom Where You're Planted, boys and girls. And as we always say here at the cafe, have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day, and we'll see you next time. And go get Bloom Where You're Planted. Go get it. Bye, guys.
Bye.